What's up, everyone? I am ZBest. Welcome back to my channel. This is the one that you have all been waiting for. We have already gone through a couple of the other Christmas box premium tanks. If you haven't seen those videos, go check them out. This one is all about the Caliban, however you would like to pronounce it. So it is a tier 8 British premium heavy tank. This thing is a meme. It is a through and through meme. There's really nothing else to say about it. In my opinion, it's a terrible meme. It is not going to carry like super easily. It can be very painful to play, as we will find out soon. And yeah, let's go through these stats real quick. So I was running optics. View range did seem to be a little bit lacking. You do not get the choice of a rammer, so optics is what I took. Optics is also very useful to get assistance damage, because if you are trying to either make credits or train your crew or even market, you definitely want to get assistance damage, because damage dealing is not consistent. It is an RNG tank through and through. Definitely want vertical stabilizer, and then vents that will help both your reload and your accuracy, aim time, view range, all the above. Same with vents directive, food, BIA, recon and situational awareness. This was, I think, my Super Conqueror crew, so it does perfectly line up with that, though it does only have three crew members. The commander is the gunner, so you won't have stuff like, I think it's snapshot, stuff like that if you use your Super Conqueror commander, but you'll still have everything else. Like, for example, the loader is the radio man or the radio operator for the Super Conqueror. So you do get really good view range when you use optics and vents, bounty at least, which you do need, because otherwise you won't get very much else unless you are very lucky. Consistency is not easy to get in this thing, and let's see why. First of all, 0.52 accuracy. I'm pretty sure there are multiple artillery that are more accurate than that at this point. Same with the aim time, 3.7 seconds after using V-stab and vents directive and food. It is really slow. If you thought 3 seconds was slow, 3.7, like, it's artillery slow in a regular tank. Now, it is an auto reloader. What that means is you have to wait 34, almost 35 seconds for your first shell to load, which means if you fire both your shells, you're going to be sitting there for more than 30 seconds before you have another shell if you didn't kill the tank that you were fighting, or if you need to re-engage. It is very bad to fire both your shells unless you know you can hide for a long time. Even your second shell takes almost 22 seconds to load. And as we will see in a second, you are not going to kill a tank every 22 seconds. The Hesh shell is 180 penetration and 850 damage, which, yes, sounds really high, but you have to remember that that is still only about half. Here you can see 1700 total clip damage. It's only about half of a tier 8 heavy tank. And you're not going to be able to pen them consistently with 180. Basically, this thing you want to play in a platoon, or you want to play in a way that you can always hide behind other people. You have 3.75 seconds in between shots. Again, it's useful if you're trying to dump into something and you have, like, I think it's like 55 seconds, 56 seconds, if you're going to be able to hide for a full minute to reload. But I don't recommend dumping your clip in most instances. And also, let's see, power to weight. It's actually really good for a heavy. It's over 18, which means you have a very slow top speed and very slow reverse speed, but you will be traveling at them almost all the time. And we will see that in this battle, actually. Now, this is where it gets fun. Look at this shell velocity, 354 meters per second. It lobs shells. These shells take forever to get to the target. And the AP shell is not much better, only 500 meters per second shell velocity. The penetration, though, jumps up over 100 to 292, which on a tier 8 is actually really good. I found that in most instances, the AP shell is way more consistent and still reasonably enjoyable because 292 is enough to go through even tier 10s reasonably consistently. And it's still 600 alpha, which on a tier 8 heavy tank is pretty good. I mean, it's by far the best. You have to remember at 500 meters per second shell velocity, it takes forever for the shells to get where they're going. So sniping, not recommended. Though remember, 600 damage every 22 seconds if you have both shells loaded, or 1200 damage every minute and like a couple seconds. So you really have to watch what your team is doing and what their team is doing and where you engage. Now, the other thing that I have to point out is just these shells, not actually that expensive. Like the standard shell is $18.50, but the premium AP is only $4,800, which if you see like how long the reload is per minute, you're actually not spending that many credits. And it's only about 3,000 credits more to fire premium AP when, like, if you fire the Hesh and you don't pen, you're only going to do between like 100 and 300 damage, unless you had a very weak armored tank. And then maybe you'll go like around 400 or 500 with a splash. But don't count on that. It's typically about 150 damage if you don't pen and it like goes through a track and then doesn't pen. So there's really no real drawback to firing AP in this tank. Camo, of course, is terrible. Gun depression, 10 degrees, really good. Over the back, it's 3, so you have to position your tank in a decent position. But yeah, and then armor. Nothing super special. I'm actually going to use the AP. We'll leave it at this for now. Lower plate. This is to the 180 pen Hesh, which is why it's all red. The lower plate is about 180 to 185 effective, which to tier 6s and 7s might be a hard pen, though the like regular tier 8 rounds, 9s, 10s will butter your lower plate. Upper plate, about 240 to 250 effective. Again, tier 8s will struggle, but and below, but 9s and 10s completely butter it. And the turret again, 250, 260, pretty solid. So it does actually have some decent armor against lower tier opponents. Higher tiers will probably go through it pretty easily. Cupola, super weak, but it is a very small target. And the side armor is awful, 35 millimeters. So you also just don't want to take many hits because, well, it's really hard to stay alive when it takes a minute to reload your clip. Well, though that is the quick overview of the armor model and the stats. Let's get into some gameplay. So this was a game I played earlier with a friend of mine. Here we can see I instantly made it up to the 33 top speed. And I am actually loading AP from the beginning. Now, here we can see that I have still not loaded my first shell, and it's already been 30 seconds. You are not going to be able to fire very many shots each game, especially if you take a lot of hits early, because then you won't have any HP to do anything. Also, this enormous gun looks really funny on this tank. So again, this is a Christmas box tank, so it is probably going to be the one that is most sought after, purely because of the memes. It is not worth overspending. Don't spend what you don't have, and don't spend if you like for no reason. They are lucrative. You will always get more than you spend. Like if you spent $30 or $50 or $100 any other time of the year, and then you spent that general amount at Christmas, you will typically get at least like 110, 150, or even 200% of that in in-game content, depending on what you already own. And I mean, there is a luck aspect, like there is, but you will at least get $100 worth of stuff out of it. And like I said in my previous video, there is a mechanic this time around where if you don't have a tier 8 by, I think it's box 50, you will get a tier 8 and at box 50. So here we are. That shot didn't go anywhere near where I aimed it. Look at that aim time. I was not fully aiming whatsoever. I kind of snapped those. And I still did 1200, but now you see I have to sit here for a full minute. And I mean a full minute. This thing takes forever to reload. I am at 1200 damage, but I've already lost almost half of my HP. And I'm just out of the fight. If they push right now, I would just be dead. Like, that's just how it is with this. Again, though, 292 AP is just so useful at close range. Even at long range, but like you saw, the aim time, almost 4 seconds, and the accuracy over 0.5, it just takes so long. Look at this. I'm going to fully aim this shot. Look how long it takes even at close range. And that's fully aimed, and it still covered most of the tank. So I am actually in full communication with my platoon mate. So he takes the hit here. Normally I would be a little more careful. But anyways, I loop that shell. And yeah, don't do that. Don't fire your shell for a 50-50 shot. Not worth it. I have to wait another 30 seconds. It's just so not worth it. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure I switched to Hesh here. So I just went through 15 seconds of reload. And yeah, I think I started over here. So yeah, this thing takes forever to reload. Though I'm up to 2500 damage. It's decent in a tier 8. Don't get me wrong. All it took was 2 clips. Well, 4 shots. But it's taken 4.5 minutes to put those 4 shots out. It's, yeah. And look at this. The bloom is so big and the aim time is so long that I can't just sit here, try to get a shot in. Like, it's just not worth it. Like, I could have snapped that, but then I would have had to wait another 30-something seconds just to have another shell. And here, I am waiting to get both my shells. And that was lucky, but I fired too early. Do you see that? I fired my shot too early, and now I have to wait 30 seconds, even though my second shot was like a second away from reloading, which is why the Italian heavy tanks auto reloading mechanic is actually quite good. it at least alleviates some of the pain of firing a split second too early. So over 3,300 damage. That was an 834 pen on the forest. There's only the even 90 left. Look at this bloom. Took forever to aim. Look at how big this bloom is. And look at that loop shell. And there we go. 900 damage on the even 90. It's just a bit ridiculous. Anyways, here we go. Here's the post-game stats. Mind you, this is a second class. A second class. 4,200 damage, high caliber, 1 kill. Second class. I have yet to ace this thing, and I've actually played, I don't know, more than a dozen battles for sure. It's a meme. It is a total meme. It will not carry games, at least not easily. The aim time is horrendous. The accuracy is even worse. Equipment-wise, I was running what I was running on purpose. Turbo, you can use it. It's decent, though you will still only go like, I don't know, 35, 37. It's not that much better. As for improved aiming unit, it just doesn't help that much. Like, sure, it helps, but you'd much rather be able to reload faster or get better view range. Aiming in is just not that good. And then hardening, maybe it is a heavy tank, but what are you gonna do with that extra HP if you're still on reload because you either can't spot someone or your gun is just very good? I think you can run any equipment on it, but you definitely want vents and V-stab. The third one is a little more optional, though. Again, if you're going for credits or marking or crew training, use optics. You'll get XP by spotting stuff. It's just more useful. Team score, only about 1,000 XP, which is why I wasn't an ace. And look at this. I did 4,000 damage, but it was only 24,000 credits. That's actually really not bad. Like, that's really not bad. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to the fact that premium AP shells, 600 damage for 4,800 credits is actually not a bad deal. It really isn't. Especially with a 292 pen. Though the shells love to dip. They love to go to the edge of the reticle. You really have to fully aim unless you're really lucky like I was with the Basante. This thing is, we had a bunch of conversations about what this tank is. And all of us just came up with, it's a meme. It's a terrible meme. It's just a bad meme. You'll meme in it, and maybe you'll get a good game here and there. But most of the time, it is so hard to actually hit, first of all, pen second of all, whether you are firing the AP or the hash, because first you have to hit, and if you don't hit, you just can't pen. And then you have to sit around for ages to reload. Absolute ages. And of course the armor is okay, but it's nothing super special. So, like what I was saying with the previous reviews of the Christmas box tanks, and in this video, it's not worth overspending or spending money you don't have, or spending money to get extra boxes to get this tank. It's just not worth it. It's fun in an odd way, and it's also frustrating in other ways, and it's also a good meme. A full platoon of them is an even bigger meme. But I found that Hesh is only really useful when you're top tier. So when there's tier 7s and tier 6s on the other team, not very useful when you're in an all 8 tier 8 game. Definitely not very useful when you are bottom tier. I mean, it doesn't really have a place in the game other than being a meme. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a like. Feel free to subscribe and check out my other Christmas box premium tank videos. And keep an eye out for future videos on either holiday ops or any other topics coming up. And thank you for watching. I will see you guys around.